If you want the adventure of a lifetime, maybe you're a bit lonely, maybe you don't have many friends, maybe you're looking for love, consider walking the Camino de Santiago. I walked it in 2018 and it's one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. I made so many friends, had so many deep, meaningful conversations. I saw some amazing things. If you don't know what the Camino is, it's a 500-mile walk from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port in France, across the Pyrenees and across mid to sort of upper Spain, across to Santiago de Compostela on the west side of Spain, in Galicia. But I wish I knew somebody who did the Camino to get advice from, because I pretty much did everything wrong and damaged my knee as well. So here are the top 10 things I think you need to know before going on the Camino. 1, how to train for the Camino. The only way you can train for this is by walking as much as you can every single day for 2 to 3 months, depending on how fit you are, which I know is quite difficult because we've all got jobs, family life, but trust me, take the training seriously. Take the time to do it every single day, little by little, and after 2 to 3 months, you want to be able to walk at least 15 kilometers over diverse terrain, not just around the streets, and wearing everything that you will be taking on the Camino. Also, I know this is a touchy one, but try and slim down as much as possible, just so you're not carrying that extra weight. Regarding your footwear, I made the mistake of using heavy walking boots that I already have. They were Berghaus. They were pretty good, but they were just so clumpy and heavy. That gave me the worst blisters, and I threw them away after a week, and I ended up walking 450 miles in socks and sandals like Jesus. And you know what? If I did the Camino again, I'd walk in socks and sandals the whole way. They're lightweight, and I didn't get one blister. That's a loud bird. Whatever footwear you decide on, make sure they're lightweight and well worn in. Don't take brand new shoes. Wear them in during your training. A lot of people wear trainers. Tip 2, what to pack. I pack way too much stuff. Books, deodorants, razors, firelighters, stupid stuff like a compass. You don't need a compass. I didn't lose my way once. You don't even need a map, because on every other tree, on every other street corner, every other building, there's an arrow pointing where you should go. Even on the floor, you see these arrows. You won't lose your way, I promise you. If you're desperate to take a book, take a Kindle, because obviously it's lightweight. Clothing, I would take 2 to 3 pairs of pants, 2 or 3 pairs of socks. Make sure one of them are proper walking socks, they do help. Flip-flops, 2 t-shirts, 1 lightweight jumper, depending on what time of the season you're going. I went in May, there's still snow on the mountains in May. And 1 very thin waterproof jacket and trousers. Take a lightweight sleeping bag, like a very light tog sleeping bag. Sunglasses, a hat, a quick dry towel. Don't bother with toiletries until you get there, and then just buy them from the nearest spa. Buy a pack of wipes, trust me, you will need them. Obviously, if you have medication, take that. The only other medication I'd take is Compeed. You can buy it on the road because it's great for when you have a blister, a bad one. If you do, it will stop you in your tracks, like with me. Learn how to use it properly, because I had a large blister. I put the Compeed over the blister and I needed a shower. And I didn't know you had to leave it on, so I ripped it off eventually. I felt like half my bloody foot came with it. Blood everywhere. It was horrendous. Read the instructions. Make sure you get a lightweight, flat, sort of anti-theft style bum bag, you know, the kind where you can put your passport, driving license, money, etc. Oh, and don't be ashamed to take those, you know, those collapsible walking sticks that people use. I turned my nose up at the people that had those sticks. But after the 3rd day, my knee swole, couldn't walk. I was in so much pain. I literally went into the woods to find like a Gandalf stick to lean on and use that stick for probably 3 or 4 days before I got to a city where I could find proper ones. So yeah, they're lightweight, just take them. 3, money. I promised myself that I was going to be a good boy. I wasn't going to drink. I wasn't going to smoke on the Camino. I was going to be all spiritual and find myself, teetotal, but that went straight out the window on day 2 when I met up with a group of, yeah, they were pretty much party animals.
Oh, Olivia!
Hey, Olivia!
Hi, Olivia.
I got caught up, the wine was flowing, as it always does on a Spanish dinner table, so I completely blew my budget. I had to use a credit card in the end. So you're going to be there roughly 5 weeks if you're doing the whole 500 miles. Your albergue will be 20 to 30 euros per night. I would budget for treating yourself to a nice hotel once a week to give yourself a break. So that's an extra 200. Food, I ate bread and cheese for lunch, which you can find on the road. Evening time, the hostels / albergues, within the 20 to 30 euros that you pay, you get what's called a peregrino meal, which is, it's quite modest, usually pasta or rice. So if we're adding all this up, 30 a day over 7 days, that's 210, plus an extra 200 for hotel. And then, you got to plan on having a drink with your mates on the evening time, maybe a coffee. Whatever you drink, half a bottle of wine, a couple of beers, that's like 20 to 30 quid per day. On top of that, I'd had 25% for unexpected things. So you're looking at 700 euros per week, which is £3,500 over 5 weeks, less your travel. And then definitely take your credit card just in case. For traveling, well, this is going to vary for everybody, but I flew from Birmingham to Toulouse, then I caught a bus from Toulouse to Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, which is where the Camino starts. And I thought of lots of different ways. Maybe should I drive to France and then when I finish the Camino, return somehow, get the car, drive back, but it just sounded ridiculous. So flying is the easiest and quickest way. Don't mess about with any other way, fly. Make sure to book your first night's accommodation in St. Jean if you can, because it can get rather full over the summer. When should you go? Well, everybody's individual circumstances will be different, but I'll tell you now, unless you're an experienced walker, don't go in the winter because people do actually die over the Pyrenees Mountains. The weather is so unpredictable. I mean, you can expect snow, rain, pretty much 4 seasons within the space of an hour. I went in May because May's warm enough, but not too hot, not too touristy either, as it does during the summer holidays. 6, what to expect on the Camino? Well, the first day from Saint Jean over the Pyrenees Mountains into Roncesvalles, I think you pronounce it, is steep and it's unpredictable weather and tough. Don't make the mistake that I did as a younger man, trying to prove myself to myself and others, walking as fast as I can to get there, to be the first to get to the hostel. You will injure yourself. I was marching as fast as I could to be the first to get there, but by day 3 I injured my knee. It swole and it stopped me in my tracks. I could not walk. I couldn't go any further, and that actually cost me time and money because I had to recuperate in a hotel. Wake up early, preferably while it's still dark or close to sunrise. Walk at a leisurely pace, stop regularly for coffee, water, refreshments. Definitely stay hydrated. Obviously make sure to have your lunch. I don't need to tell you that. Take little snacks. And hopefully you can sit down with a beer at 3 o'clock, maybe earlier. If you do decide to have a lie-in with a hangover or something like that, please be aware that it is a possibility that you could walk 15 to 20 kilometres in the baking hot sun. You get to your destined town and all the beds are full because people got there before you, which means you either have to sleep in a church or in a cardboard box under an archway like I did because I was too tired and blistered to walk another 5 to 10 kilometres to the next town. I was literally walking around the back of restaurants looking for cardboard boxes to use as a bed. It was a low point. If you are a people person, it's great because the conversations you have for miles and miles and miles, hours and hours, are like no other you're going to have with a stranger ever. It's very intense, and for some reason you tend to pour your heart out to these people, which is why a lot of them go on the Camino again and again. Some people do it like 5-6 times. As I said, I made a lot of friends, and by the end of the 5 weeks we felt like we knew each other for a lifetime. It was weird. Great feeling. The hostels are quite basic, most of them anyway. Some are modern, but not many. The majority are old, run-down buildings with just the bare essentials. A couple of showers. Not many of them have washing machines. I don't think I came across one with a washing machine. So you have to be prepared to wash your clothes either in the sink, the bath, the shower. Sometimes they may have a washroom with like a stone sink, like an old-fashioned stone sink. Don't remember using any kind of detergent, just soap, so add soap to your pack list. because then you can dry your clothes outside overnight. That's pretty much the first thing you need to be doing when you settle down. You put your bags down, figure out where and how you're going to wash your clothes. Don't get caught out. You can expect the Camino to get unbelievably touristy for the last 100 kilometers or so from Lugo, because a lot of people just want to complete the last leg of the journey to get the certificate at the end, see the church, etc. The one thing that did annoy me at the time as a younger man, it probably wouldn't now, especially towards the end of the Camino when it's busy, most of the hostels, albergues and hotels are pre-booked up usually by the older pilgrims that have pre-booked as part of a guided tour company. I can't understand why they did it, but that's why you need to get to your destination early so you can grab a bed or a room. So weird, these two guys were talking about the Camino. I'm in Sheffield now. Anyway, number 7, is it okay to travel alone? I've got quite a few friends and I had a girlfriend at the time. I'm now married to her, but because I'm self-employed, I had the freedom and the money to pursue this adventure. However, my wife was working, my friends were either working, raising kids, or both, or they just didn't fancy it. You know, it's not everyone's cup of tea. So I had no choice but to travel alone. My theory is, if you wait around for somebody to travel with and do things with, you might be waiting a lifetime, which means you'll end up doing fuck all. So if you're in that position like I was, just go alone. You will meet people there, don't worry about that. And if you're thinking about inviting a friend, don't invite somebody out of desperation. Make sure that you do actually get on with them, because you'll be spending 24/7, 5 weeks with this person. You'll get ratty, you'll piss each other off. So what I'm trying to say is either go alone or with somebody whose company you enjoy, like your bestie. 8, the people on the Camino. As I said at the start, I made lifelong friends on that trip who I'm still in touch with after 7 years. My friend Alan from Germany, I think he was 20 at the time. He'd never had a girlfriend in his life. He was a virgin, I'm sure he won't mind me saying that. And he met his wife on the Camino, and they conceived a baby on the Camino. Another friend of mine, Tom from Holland, he got with a girl called Ellie. They were roughly the same age. They now have a baby also. I suspect thousands and thousands of babies have been conceived on the Camino. I'm not saying that you're going to do the same, but it's a perfect way to meet somebody, to meet a lover or a lifelong friend. Just hope that I can do it again someday. There is no demographic of people who walk the trail. You've got all walks of life, young, old, rich, poor, students, elderly people, religious people, people suffering illnesses and whatnot, people there fundraising, people from all over the world. But I found it was mainly European, British, American, Canadian, Australian. They all have a similar mindset to you. They're looking for adventure, nice people, good experiences, spirituality. And out of the hundreds of people I must have met, there was only one who I wasn't too keen on, but the majority are amazing. Number 9, are you too old? You're never too old. First day I was walking next to this guy. He was in his mid-80s, I forgot his name. His wife had just passed away, and he somehow got the motivation to do this walk at that age. I think he was fundraising for cancer, if I remember correctly, but people were just so in awe of the guy, me too. And he was trailing behind him a wheelie bin, you know, the green waste council wheelie bins. His friends somehow modified it for him to make carrying his luggage easier. They somehow cut down the middle of this bin, disposed of half of it, but left the wheel side of it, so he could balance his luggage on it, strap it up, stick it around his waist and trail it behind him like a trailer. He was moving quite slow, so I didn't see him after the first day. If you're listening, brother, send me a message. I'd like to know how you got on. It doesn't matter how old you are. The only thing you need is the motivation to do it, and obviously the health. However, there were people there with prosthetic legs. There was somebody in a wheelchair, people on crutches. You'd have to be in a state where you physically can't move your hands or legs to not be able to do the Camino. And even then, there's always a way. Some people do it on bikes, which takes roughly 10 days. And you know what? I think that's what I'd do next, do it on a bike. One guy did the Camino on a donkey and slept outside with his donkey. And I'm sure I've seen his book on Amazon or in the shops. 10, what to do in Santiago when you finally get there. I arrived in Santiago with no days to spare. I only experienced one evening, but my memory of it was feeling a sense of achievement and exhilaration, euphoria, the relief of walking past the sign that says "Welcome to Santiago," and then walking under the bridge, hearing those panpipes, bagpipes. That welcome you into the plaza where the cathedral is, and it's just full of people wearing backpacks, sitting on the floor, enjoying a beer, repairing their feet, people hugging in tears. It was fantastic. I spent most of the evening on the floor with my friends, having a beer in front of the church. A few of them did queue up and attend the service, which is completely in Spanish, by the way, so I guess they found it impossible to follow, but I guess they wanted to feel what it was like. You know, you've walked 500 miles, you might as well experience the service at the end. It's an experience and it's a reward. And of course, the highlight is the swinging incense botafumeira, I think it's called. I didn't attend because I was just having too much fun outside with my friends. I didn't want to queue up and I didn't want to attend a church service. You know, I'm not against religion, I just didn't fancy it. The city centre is beautiful. It's an old town, lots of nice little shops, tapas bars. Well, it's pinchos in northern Spain. I'd love to go back to Santiago just for the food, maybe a romantic weekend with the wife. Anyway, I hope I've helped you with making your decision whether you should go on this journey or not. I hope you do. I hope I've been some assistance, because there are a lot of videos out there. Some of them I watch myself in preparation for the Camino, but there are not many or any that really go into the tiny little details of what to expect and what you need to know and how to prepare for it. This is why I've made this video for you. My only regret was that I didn't document the journey properly, day by day, with diaries, pictures, videos. I've obviously shown you some of them. Well, I've showed you everything I've got, but I would advise you to get a selfie stick, a GoPro, with some SD cards. Just get a second-hand one, a notebook and pen to document this incredible journey that awaits you. Please feel free to comment with any questions, and buen camino.
Estoy en el camino que un día elegí y sigo en el camino, por algo hay que vivir. Caminando no hay destino, caminando por venir. Estoy en el camino ya de mí, ya de mí. The